Hello, my name is Andrew, but commonly on Xbox, I am known as Slim Anthem, and I would like to reach out to Rockstar in this video and just give them a little bit of my ideas for GTA 6 and how the game can be made better than GTA 5, perhaps more successful. And I know it's going to be asking for quite a bit, but I think this would help with breaking records, selling more copies of GTA 6 as opposed to GTA 5. I think it will just really crush records going forward. Um, I understand that GTA 6 would not be made for several years. It could be as early as 2025 that we could expect the new game to come out. But anyway, this is some of my ideas that I have regarding GTA 6, and I hope that for you, Rockstar, you may find some of these suggestions helpful, maybe even think about them. Um, I would love it if you guys would be able to at least take a look into some of these problems and some of these suggestions, at least some of them. Um, but ideally, I think it'd be awesome if all of these suggestions could be worked on for the future title of GTA. Um, so starting off, I'd probably say one of the biggest things that popped in my head regarding Grand Theft Auto that's a pain in the butt would be the loading times, because you can expect the loading times to be like just to get into a lobby as it is, like 2 to 3 minutes, because it takes me forever to get into a lobby, and it takes all my friends just the same amount of time. Um, if there was a way you guys could fix that so that way load times could be reduced and much faster, that'd be great. Better frame rate. Yeah, there are some times where it seems like the lobby is pretty laggy. Not so much in invite only sessions, ones in which it's just you and maybe one or two friends, but in some lobbies where there's like 20 people, the game kind of has a little bit of a lagging effect. I don't know if it's the same way on PC because I play on Xbox One, but I have noticed that when I play on a public lobby, generally it's pretty slow movement. And uh, in some parts of the map, like the casino, once I go inside, movement's pretty choppy in there too because there's just so many NPCs just hanging about in there. Um, Another thing that I have noticed, this one's a little nitpicky, but I would like to reduce the buffer time between spectating people in jobs. Um, what I mean by that is like whenever you're spectating someone, when you're going from person one to person two, it seems like there's a 5 second delay in between, just to spectate the other person. It'd be great if like that could be closer to instantaneous, because if you're in the middle of a mission and person A isn't really doing a whole lot and person B is just about to do something that's worth watching, it really helps if somehow you could just switch from person A to person B and not have to worry about missing a thing in between, because it sucks when you're trying to spectate your teammates and every time you want to switch to the next person there's like a 5 to 10 second delay in between. um, Another thing that I'd say is pretty big is the button mashing of running mechanics. The whole running mechanic thing needs to be fixed, because I get that there's a walking feature, a jogging, and then a sprinting thing, but just button mashing A for me on Xbox, it's A. It just gets really annoying because You have to hold the controller very weird if you want to button mash and look around at the same time. So like if there was a way we could fix that so that way it would feel more natural, maybe even clicking in the left analog stick. Um, I mean, I get that clicking in the left analog stick allows you to crouch, but maybe we can substitute that another way. Um, or maybe just have a button that, or maybe just hold A and then you can run full speed. No in between, none of this jogging stuff. It could just go from walking to sprinting. Um, Also, more variety to character movement. Example, more than just like sliding across the hood of your car. Uh, how about like cool dismounts off of bikes? Because when you're moving around and all that, it's cool when you like slide across the hood of your car, but like, are there other ways that you could possibly make dismounting off of vehicles more entertaining, more fun, like not so not so simplistic, I guess is the way of saying it. Because I think it'd be cool if like maybe instead of just bailing off your bike, maybe you like slide while you're on your bike, kind of like you're just tipping the bike over, sliding, and then popping up and then shooting. I think that'd be cool. Maybe there's a way you guys can mess with that and make it a little bit more entertaining. Um, I think a voice should be added to your GTA character. I think that you guys should have an option in which you can customize your character's voice. I think that'd be cool because there's so many times where it's just awkward because you're just standing there quiet and you don't really know what your player's thinking about because in heists and all that, people just talk to you like you're a mute. Um, I think it'd be cool to customize your character's voice and get to talk during cutscenes and all that. Um, First person mechanics, I think that could be improved. Um, in that regards, I'd say like reduce jerk when moving around because whenever you're like using the right analog stick to turn your guy, it seems very jerky and it doesn't seem smooth and fluid. And it just feels very stiff and robotic, kind of like you're just like this. If we could maybe make the movement a little bit more fluid, not only just looking around, but just turning, it literally looks like you're just playing an old school PC game. And maybe make the combat experience a little bit better because I find that it's when you're shooting in first person, it's better to be looking the standard way as opposed to aiming down your sights whenever you're aiming at a person because aiming down the sight just doesn't really quite work. It doesn't it makes it where it's more difficult in a way to shoot at someone rather than just kind of off to the side in first person. So if there was a way to make that a little bit better, that'd be great. Um, but yeah, I'd say ultimately for first person, there's I don't see many people using first person in GTA, so I guess try to spark more interest in players to use the first person mechanic of your character because I think that'd be neat if GTA would be just as fun in first person as it is in third. Because first person, when you first start playing GTA, for me it got boring after a week of playing, and I just wasn't ever crazy about the movement. But I think it'd be nice if some of those things could be tuned up so that way the movement wasn't so choppy and maybe it'd be a little bit more interesting to play in first person. Um, More solo opportunities in every game mode, including heist. That would be that'd be great if there'd be more game modes that would allow you to play with one person only, because most of the game modes that are out these days require at least two people to play. And for people that play GTA like me, it sucks when you don't really have anyone to play with. So I find it kind of difficult to enjoy the game, because a lot of the new game modes require at least two people. So I have to play old contact missions. Um, Fortunately, things started getting better with the Cayo Perico heist update, because that allowed us to do a heist for once with uh, just a solo person. Like, you don't need two or more people to do it. Um, so I like that you can actually do the heist with one person, but I think it'd be great going forward to add more heist and jobs in which you can do solo, as opposed to having teams to do it. I mean, of course, have game modes like that where it requires a certain amount of players to do, but not everyone is able to get into those lobbies, because some people don't play those old games, and some people just don't have that many friends to play with. Maybe even add bots with variable difficulty in game modes that normally require two people minimum. So, like, maybe for those game modes where you don't have enough people to play, maybe there's an option to turn on bots and you can play against the bots and just set the difficulty to certain levels. I think that'd be even cool too. Um, More interactive online experience / limited time events. So occasionally there will be events that'll be out, like the Valentine's Day event, which only happened one year. The festive event that goes on every Christmas. I think it'd be neat if there would be more like new game modes that had if there to be new game modes, but has to do better than GTA 5. Um, season Seasonal themes like Christmas, 4th of July, etc. Like, incorporate new game modes that have to deal with those holiday themes. Um, and if you complete the objectives and win this, you get like a new vehicle, maybe a new T-shirt. Just create a rewarding experience, whenever so that way online players can actually look forward to something coming out, instead of surprising the GTA community with a new update once every blue moon. I mean, ultimately for online, just create an online experience that will not bore players after a month. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to get critical here, but with GTA 5, it just really feels like you guys are just squeezing the juice box dry. Like, you're just getting every bit of ounce of fun and entertainment that you can put in the game. Like, literally just killing the game, just adding more and more game modes, but then nobody plays the old ones, so everybody's just doing the newer thing, and then that gets boring. That's my concern about GTA 6, is if the game will be one of those games that stands the test of time, or will it just be something that'll bore people off over time. Maybe even new maps, locations, not just, for example, in GTA 5, how you have San Andreas, maybe different like different cities that you can go to. I mean, I think it'd be a great idea to have a whole for like GTA 6 maybe being a whole United States open map kind of deal, or maybe in like DLCs you release another city, like you start with one city and then another DLC you move on to another city. I think that'd be cool too. Um, but I don't know what you guys have planned. I've heard rumors that it would be an open United States map. I've heard rumors that it would be like Brazil, something like that. But I think it'd be cool, like every now and then for like a DLC update, there'll be another big map that'd be incorporated into the game that you can choose to play on, and maybe even utilize all aspects of the map. So not just keeping all these old buildings that really serve no purpose, in which it looks like, oh, I can run to this building, but maybe make it where you can actually go into the building and move around in there, maybe do stuff. Just not all these buildings that just stand there and never get to be used. Um, More interactive components to the map. So like maybe you can mess with vehicles aren't really that aren't really operational. Like maybe you can control a train, uh, use a crane that's there, stuff like that. Um, and add wildlife to GTA, like not just in the story mode, but into the online experience as well. Because I I think it would kind of add to the experience, because everything just seems all dead and quiet whenever you're playing online and you just see people walking around. But like if it has that realistic factor in there with wildlife roaming around out in the countryside, you see birds overhead, people walking dogs, that'd be awesome to get to experience. um, Now, this is where it starts getting a little picky, but I would like it if you guys eliminated the whole need to pay to play, because with all these new updates that you guys are putting out, um, you have all of these new vehicles and services that you can get, these new buildings, but it costs a lot of money. A lot of the stuff can cost around $1 million to $4 million, and it sucks because a lot of us play the game and have to grind for cash, but don't want to use our real life money just to pay for the stuff in game. And so that's why it seems a little bit more rewarding for those that pay to play the game, because they just use their real life money to afford all these vehicles, warehouses, clubs in GTA. Maybe allow players that wish not to spend additional money on shark cards to more easily access new content. I don't know how to solve that problem, but if maybe you can take a look into that and see if, and maybe provide avenues in which people won't have to grind for money as hard to actually get these services, that'd be great. Because the whole pay to play experience just kind of ruins it for a lot of us, because I have yet to own a lot of these different services like the Terabyte, the Avenger, um, facilities the like a nightclub, a penthouse in the casino, because that requires a lot of grinding for cash just to be able to afford. And when you have to constantly grind and grind to get all this money, it just gets old. Like the game just doesn't feel as rewarding as it was when you first started playing. And then moving on to story mode, there's actually not a whole lot to say about story mode. I'd say maybe include um, difficulty levels, include difficulty levels for the campaign, like the story mode, uh, because the story mode is pretty easy as it is. It's pretty lengthy, but it'd be awesome if you guys could add like a variable difficulty to it. So it's like easy for those that are first starting out. You can also make it hard where people are literally struggling just to complete the whole story mode. But those are my thoughts about the game itself. I mean, the story mode for GTA 5 was excellent. I love it. It's it's pretty lengthy and there's a lot you can do other than just doing the missions because you got that 100% checklist you can work on that have additional goals and whatnot. So I don't really have a whole lot of input to say about the story mode. Just keep doing what you guys are doing about that. But I hope that you guys take my suggestions uh, for GTA 6, the online experience going forward. And I hope this video finds you well. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. You can comment below in this video. But I wish you all well. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all later. See you.